most people, what they miss about AI is they think they've got to explain it. No, have AI explain it to you. If you can train a person, you can pretty much train that outside of the physical right now, right?
This episode, we're doing something we've never done before. We've got not one, but two powerhouse guests in the house.
Yeah, these are not just friends of ours. They're blue-collar killers, AI pioneers, and straight-up business tacticians.
You've seen them building teams, launching ventures, scaling operations. Adam and Mark are here to show what's possible when grit meets tech.
And you can take any idea you have and you can actually say, okay, this idea, I'm going to go to Fiverr and I'm going to hire somebody. Can you please create the job description, the milestones they need to complete, right?
In 5 years, that every person would hold in their hand an AI smarter than every human being in the world combined.
America's backbone was built on blue-collar business grit, grind, and muscle. This is where you stop working for the business, and the business starts working for you.
Blue Collar Millionaires, we are back for another podcast, and this is the first time ever. We've got special guests. We got Adam and we've got Mark. These are guys that's in our network. Kevin's been hanging with these guys for many years. I've known you guys probably 2-3 years at this point. Very impressive entrepreneurs, marketers, salesmen, and man, we're glad to have you on the podcast and just hear what you got going on.
I appreciate it. I'm down South Florida.
Man, we're down in y'all's neck of the woods. So,
How you guys like it down here? Well, listen, too far from,
Not bad for me. I was going to come down here. I'm going to come down here and live for like 1 month.
Adam actually tries to get everybody to,
I know.
like literally, and we're looking at houses down here.
So why don't you guys go one by one and tell us what you're up to? And we'll just start off. Tell us what you got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, I'm trying to dodge opportunities right now, but Adam Maggio, originally from a little town in Forked River, New Jersey, kind of right by the Jersey Shore. During that time period, spent a long time with a Fortune 500 company, kind of building and scaling sales teams. After that, pretty much jumped into a few different industries to kind of do the same thing. Now, most recently, we've opened up a down here, which is very popular, obviously with health and wellness, is a mobile IV clinic that specializes in, bringing that experience that you normally get at a med spa into the homes. And then, just messing around with a lot of, I'm sure you guys have been to, artificial intelligence and trying to figure out where that's going to take us. But just a happy entrepreneur, man, just trying to go out there and do the right thing and help everybody out in the businesses.
And people might find it. What did you were in school games with Alex Hormozi. Yeah. What did you build out, and what place did you come in there? You got to go meet Hormozi.
Yeah, we built out on a school platform that's SKOOL. I have no affiliation other than winning the games. But yeah, we went out there and we started a school community in real estate. I had another partner with that, and within about 5 weeks, we were the number 2 school of all time, and we had an opportunity to go out there and meet Alex and Sam, and I don't know if you've ever met those two, but they're definitely unique.
What's the name of that one, and what's the one you just built out? You build it now?
Yeah, so that one was reverse flipping, and then most recently, we just duplicated the process, and we built out the Manus Group. So it's basically the new platform Manus for artificial intelligence, where we're kind of getting people in there and they're building products and stuff that, most people I think would want to have in their business to kind of do some automation and deletion, really.
yeah, dude, that's awesome. I want to come back to the AI, but Mark.
Yeah.
What you got going?
Yeah, Mark Andrew, based out of Indianapolis, Florida, part-time. Started in the blue-collar space. Started in sales originally, blue-collar space, as an entrepreneur, and then got into all kinds of stuff. Tech, security, now business acquisition, all kinds of stuff. So, and then obviously Adam mentioned we have the Ivy thing down here rolling. So that's exciting. But yeah, same thing, just entrepreneur, loving life, trying to do what I can and, keep moving. So
Mark and I are partners in blue collar funding with another Mark.
Yeah.
And we're looking to buy up blue collar businesses or help fund them, help take guys who might be at $2-3 million in revenue, help them grow to 10 million, exit private equity.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a huge need for it because it's like, people get stuck. We've all been there. We've all been stuck. And it's like we've already been through all those growing pains. So it's like we just come in as, strategic partners and help them scale and look for an actual exit. So it's kind of cool, to be able to do that. And you're basically giving someone a shortcut where like we didn't have that, we kind of slave through everything, figuring it out ourselves, grinding in the dirt, so it is cool to be able to do something like that.
What business put you on the map?
The roofing company for sure. Yeah. It was the first company I ever started. I still own it. And it rolls strong, like a great team. Probably the most important thing, obviously, if you guys know, is building teams and like having the teams actually function as a unit and being able to run operations successfully. It's a huge thing. So we built a great foundation. And then from there, it just kept going, and we're, add on salespeople, just different things that we're doing to expand. And it operates. So it's really cool.
The commercial, residential
and commercial. Yeah. We do both. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. So that's rolling hard.
I got a question for both of you guys. It's 2:00 on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah.
You both have businesses, both have lots of employees. You got these driving around the Lamborghinis in South Florida. How do you do that? Because that's what everybody wants. How do you get to that point? What did you do to set that up?
Well, I think it's experience, one, right? Some of the general rules is obviously, for me at least, if I can teach someone to do 70% of what I would do or make decisions 70% of the time, I usually bring them on and support them. And the reason why I do that is so it allows them the flexibility to screw up, but it also allows me to understand how they think. So I always let them know that if I were to make a decision, you can make that decision. If I were to make that 70% of the time, go ahead and make it. And then when they make the wrong one, it allows me to better get a better understanding of why they thought I would have made it. So I would say that's one, is giving people a little bit of a leash. Because if you're trying to do 100% of everything, none of you would have businesses, right? Arguably. And just setting up systems, using some AI to do a lot of that now, which I think will be in the future. I think you're going to see a lot of 1 or 2 person companies that but the rest of it is just AI. Yeah. If you look now, even some of the larger companies out there, they're not hiring real employees anymore. They're actually hiring what they call AI agents that are going out and not complaining, not needing a break, not needing anything. And they're automating, tasks. Fiverr, I'm sure you use that website. The CEO of that company just sent out an email basically saying to everybody on Fiverr, like, get ready. It's coming quick.
Yep. That agent, it's an agentic agent, right? That's what that's called. Yeah. So there's like difference in, there's differences in the AI stuff, but like what he's talking about is an agentic agent. It's basically like it's like I'm training. If you were to train yourself, it's a specific model that does a specific task. But I think that's kind of the description of that. But it's like a huge thing.
Essentially, you have ChatGPT, which is everyone's kind of go-to, which is awesome. You almost look at it like a Google. If you think the way you used to ask questions in Google, you don't ask them the same way when you use ChatGPT. Well, think about now it's trained specifically on your company, right? And one of them is literally your CFO. And one of them is literally your operations. One of them is literally your sales team managing ads. And then there's a manager, an AI manager that's managing these 3 departments. And you could train it all on your company's current data.
Is that all within one prompt, or did you do a prompt CFO, a prompt ad manager?
Yep. You would create and prompting, it's a very loose word. It's just like telling it what to do. But essentially the AI is so good now that you're at the precipice of starting to see it become better than even you. So it's anticipating what the next move is. I think in the blue collar space, it's going to be
it's huge. I just I'm working with a guy inside of Boardroom Elite. You came and spoke about the AI,
which is an
Asian group. Thank you. Yeah, we're proud of it. Bunch of high operators in there. So anyway, one of the guys inside of there, he's built out an AI agent that's been working in his HVAC service and install company for the last year. And there's been so much development, and he's gotten to the point, it's gotten so good. He's like, I can start offering this to others. And so I had put a post out, and he said something about, hey, this is what I use. And I said, is this your company? He said, yeah. Long story short, it'll go live on Monday.
Yeah.
So I will have an AI agent taking all inbound calls. And then as soon as that goes live, we're working on outbound. And outbound, 100% know is going to be better than any other outbound person I could have hired, because I didn't grow up in outbound sales. and mine was more of a networking style marketing strategy. So for me to be able to have that type of technology on a AI adaptive learning language, I was trying to break it. I couldn't get it to break.
Yeah.
And so I'm so excited about it. I'm bringing my office people in, and I'm like, y'all listen to this, and it's on speaker, and I'm talking to it, and it's just circling it back around, trying to constantly get me to the appointment setting portion. It will change the landscape.
100%. Well, we were, I sent him and Mark a video the other day of like, I want to say it was like Google and like Apple, all the like big time, like the heads. And they said in a year, you won't have developers anymore. They'll basically be gone. And then in 5 years that every person would hold in their hand an AI smarter than every human being in the world combined. And every person would have, in 5 years, every person would have access to that. So that's how like quick it's moving. So it's like, whether it's service business, whatever business you can imagine. I mean, we're even like, how do we incorporate the IB stuff, but it's like anything you could imagine is going to be driven by AI. So it's like, you really got to learn it. I don't think it's like putting everybody out of work. But a lot of things are going to be AI driven. And what's cool about it is like with the blue collar stuff is like, that's where the people that are losing their jobs, like the white collar is probably going to go first.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But the trades are going to open up, right? Because everything is going to push so much of that. And then now it's like, how do you find, great talent, like a great plumber, like, and you got a plumber that's making, $200,000 a year as a plumber.
Right.
That's coming, so it's interesting to see how things are like kind of evolving and how like trades are going to be so valuable. And even as, they are now, but
Getting more.
yeah, even more, they're going to be, they're going to be like that. So that's really cool.
What are some things you guys see for specifically in the trade lab? What are some things you would implement if you owned a HVAC or plumbing business? What are some things you would start day one?
Automatically, I would take every, depending if they're doing what type of lead generation they're doing, 100%. It would be customer service, and it would be taking those inbound calls and dispatching for sure. Well, without question, it could do that. And if it had know where your trucks are at, it could literally tell what the closest truck to there, basically, go here, reducing the, making me get a lot more efficient. I do think you'll be able to tie it into actual ads themselves, and you'll be able to manage your people and how busy they are and scale up or scale down the ad spend as you're going. And then even beyond that, I think there's predictive AI, meaning that, it will know, for example, one of the things we were looking at is even like when a storm's coming through, we would know that storm's coming through. So that, for example, if you're doing roofs in that area, like, hey, start ironing, this looks like it's going to hit. Some of these AI models are very, good at doing that. But even examining, like roofs, for example, we have AI technology currently.
We're talking about that.
That's doing it. I mean, it's literally going and grading a roof. It's going ahead and grading when the permits were filed last for the roof and saying, what's the odds this thing is going to, go ahead. I was a welder at one point before my career at Aflac. And I could tell you, like, looking back, anybody sitting in the blue collar space now, I think is on the opposite end of benefiting on AI. It's just, are they willing to adapt it, or are they willing to
Bite it.
Yeah. And that's the scary part.
And you can see just the post you put yesterday. There's people in the comments every time they're fighting it.
Yeah.
They're going to argue with it.
Yeah. And
I don't understand that.
It's literally everywhere. And it can do any task. I mean, if you can train a person, you can pretty much train that outside of the physical right now, right? But like anything on the phone, anything text, anything automated, anything with tech. So like in our roofing business, like we have a agentic agents that we're actually bringing in too. And one is exactly what he was talking about. It's all inbound, follow up, everything. And the agent that we are doing or we're implementing, it can literally, so like if a lead comes in and then, they're like, hey, get back to me tomorrow. So, for example, like this agent can literally determine if it should call or if it should text. And then when it's texting, it can determine if it's too aggressive or not aggressive enough based on how the response is of the client or the customer. So it's literally adapting as you go. On top of that, we can literally upload every single data point that we have with materials, SOPs, how we manage lead flow, everything like that can be uploaded to this, and it's already smarter than any person in the company.
Yeah.
They're already smarter than anybody.
Yeah, even like for I know a lot of blue collar companies out there. Like for example, with me, I just want my stuff done, right? I just want the gutters cleaned. I just want the, whatever it is, like getting people on monthly maintenance, where that thing literally knows, hey, it's fall in this area, or it's turning, boom, and then again, it learns so quickly that you may not even have to tell it. You could actually ask it to give you the ideas of what you're missing and let it tell you. See, most people, what they miss about AI is they think they've got to explain it. No, have AI explain it to you, right?
Yeah.
So if you wanted to, for example, upload all last year's financials, right? You could upload all, hey, tell me a little bit about my business. Tell me a little bit about where my biggest margins were. Tell me about where my smallest margins were. What should I do better? What should I eliminate? What should I add on? Okay. It will go out there and compare it against other companies. So you could literally put your competitors in there, and you could go ahead and say, how good are they doing? And you could tell by search volume. They could tell by anything that's kind of on that website. And literally you can build a moat if you want to.
Yeah. Yeah. So, he knows, but this is just like very recently. I had he's an ex-partner in a different company that I had, that we had some issues with, that the grenade company that I told you about. Anyways, he came to, he's been wanting me to come in on a business venture for him, with him forever. And being in business with him before, I knew like he's a guy I partner with. So he's literally, and he wants to do trade stuff. So literally he's been like sending me all these trade companies that's for sale or whatever. And I'm like, did you find the right one? Because he wants to operate it. I'm like, we'll pull the trigger. So he sends one over. We submit an LOI. They didn't set. Sends another one over. And time-wise on evaluating a company, you guys know what that's like. I mean, it's very time-consuming. So he sends everything over. I take it and I cross-reference it on 3 different AI models. And I do a full analysis on this company in 20 minutes. Every financial thing, everything that you can imagine was done in 20 minutes. And then I go through and I go back and I check everything myself. So like after it spit all the stuff out, which, the prompts there's a lot of different prompts, but the main ones are like, what area of concerns do you see? Like what potential growth is there? Is this a good buy or is it a bad buy? Things like that. So I'm literally punching all these things in and spits it out. Goodbye. So then boom, I go through and cross-reference all the P&Ls. I'm looking at all the detail stuff that it talks about. And then, so I have a clear understanding of what I'm even looking at after it spits all this stuff out. Yeah. So then after I look at it, I'm like, great, cool. So it looks good. So I literally prompt it to create the LOI. So it creates a legal LOI that's literally as good as some of the other ones that I've had attorneys do that, cost me $1,000 just to produce an LOI and that they've just copied and pasted. It does that in 5 minutes. Complete. After I reprompt, fix this. So then we come in, do the LOI, submit it, they counter, come back, restructure, go back, done. So that was it. That was it within like 48 hours.
I was going to ask you, did you tell it to ask for negotiation tips?
So basically I had to get creative on the structure. So we wanted, on this specific model, we wanted, cause it's a smaller business. Like it's a smaller operation. I think they're doing like 1.6 a year. So it's nothing crazy. And normally I probably wouldn't be acquiring that, but this guy already wants to operate it. And immediately he already has another business. And he's like, dude, I just need this much that covers me from removing myself from the other business. That's it. So I'm like, cool, which is already saving cost on what the owner's making. So during the LOI, when I'm going through the prompts, I'm like, creating a creative type structure. So what it did is it created a model where it was basically 20% seller financing, 10% down, 70% SBA. And then with an earnout structure for the seller, that would be an additional, basically it was like $200,000 over a 2-year period if they hit X number of rep, with him being on. So if the company, if we continued the company in the growth pattern that we wanted and it hit certain numbers, then you would make an extra $200,000. But we lowered the price of the buy. So he didn't like that. He came back and the counter was the full price of what he was asking. We came in $100,000 less, full price of what he was asking. He accepted the seller finance. we do 10% down, 70% SBA, and then he's putting $100,000 of working capital in the business when we buy it. So he immediately is throwing $100,000 of working capital in. So it's like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
So it's boom, sign the LOI, send it back. That's it. I mean, literally, this whole thing, like it would, it would take you,
time.
it would take you 2 to 3 days to evaluate all these.
You need breaks.
These skilled people evaluating it exactly. So you could trip it up too. What you do next time, say, "Whoops, I'm actually the seller," and it'll watch it put the script, and then it will tell you what the seller would say. So now you've got both sides of it, and then now what you do is you take it, you upload it in Manus, you go say, "Find me 10 businesses that fit this profile, the age of the owner, this. It will literally go out there. It'll look for the outdated website. It will look for the no lead generation.
Is that what you were doing when you built that website out with Manus with the different businesses down here?
No, actually, what I was doing with that's funny too. One of the tricks. I have a horrible at writing, and I'm even worse at typing. Like spell check sometimes doesn't even get me right. Yeah, if you put the app on your phone, you can talk into it.
Yeah.
Right. So you could talk into it, and you can literally just babble on and on and on and on. And it's just a long prompt, right? But the AI gets what you're saying, and it starting to understand your tonality and things like that. So what'll end up happening is, for me, when I was building out that site, hey, I'd start off simply saying, look, I'm looking to create a marketplace. There's going to be buyers and sellers. There's going to be blue collar businesses. Here's my buy box of what I'm looking for. Okay. Hey, I'm a little concerned that buy box isn't right. What's wrong with that buy box? Am I thinking, is there anything I'm missing about that buy box? Is there anything I could do to make this target 10 times better? Right. Don't let it just give you the first version, because the first version it's the framework. Yeah. But trust me, it's way better. So for example, with that, I would say, okay, now you're an M&A attorney that's graduated from Harvard, that honors front, right? Yeah. So when you start throwing all that in there, it literally will go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
And then you can keep prompting it to make it better. Like he's saying, you can literally just reprompt it. No, you're 10 times better than this.
Yeah, you could do better.
Yeah.
Do better.
Yeah. It's like you're coaching it's crazy.
It's what you do is better when you ask. So you wonder why you just get out in the first place.
When you start uploading those files into it, that's really when it starts changing. I took all of my financials for my business, threw it in there, and I said, show me gap analysis, show me where I need to get to, what the journey is before I can get this sold to private equity, and they'd be interested based off their current buying habits. And I was floored at the information it get back.
Well, the one thing too, like here, with even you doing that, or like what we're talking about and all this stuff, so like us as entrepreneurs, like we see all this, but like we understand, like there's got to be execution, right? So it's like, because you literally have this like brain in front of you that you could say, hey, I need to do this, and this in my business, and then it tells you. So, but then what, right? Yeah. And I think that's where like a lot of people now are playing with it, and they're just playing with it. And it's like the reality is, it's like it's such a tool, but it's like if you plug in all that stuff, it's going to tell you do this, this, and this. And you're the guy that's going to go, okay, boom, boom, and just completely execute on that task. So it takes that,
That's funny because I was doing it. And the next thing I know, I got like 90 things going on. Yep. And then I was like, am I even going to do any of these things? So now I do it. I uploaded a bunch of SOPs I have from my company so it understands it. Then I say, I'm on a walk, and I say, hey, I got an idea. And I'll start talking. I say, write me an SOP based on my tonality, the way I write it all up. I'm going to hand it off. And then I'm not doing this now. Now I'm just handing it to VAs, or I hand it to my executive assistant. I say, who should run with this idea? Who should take care of this? But soon you'll just say, look at my you can do it now. Look at the calendar. Who has time? Who has the skill set that matches that? But the SOP thing, literally in 30 seconds, you can write a 3-page thing.
And you can take any idea you have, and you can actually say, okay, this idea, I'm going to go to Fiverr, and I'm going to hire somebody. Can you please create the job description, the milestones they need to complete, right? And then it will literally write that up for you. For example, I did a pretty heavy website build. I know nothing about building a website. The guy was trying to get me on price. I said, fine. I uploaded what it said. And the guy's like, whoa. Now he understood, like, he wasn't dealing with somebody, like an idiot off the street. And suddenly the price got a little bit cheaper and everything was on time. But yeah.
What are the tools that you're using for this AI?
So I it's funny.
Chat GPT.
Yeah, I talk to AI. I talk to Chat GPT more than I do any employee. I do have a lot of independent contractors, but you get the point. So I usually use Chat GPT for the quick little, answers that I need. What I also use Chat GPT for is to create the prompt for something more complex like a Manus. Manus is not a simple, I'm going to put something in, get a quick information. It's going to go ahead and literally take control of a computer, not yours, an external computer, and literally scan 1,000 websites. It's going to go ahead and create code. It's going to go ahead and it's just going to keep going and going and going to execute a task. So for an example, if I had ChatGPT open, I typically like to talk to it. So if you have the give the laptop version, you simply just download the app onto the laptop, talk into it, and I usually start off with the same things. Hey, look, you're an elite level prompt engineer. You've graduated from Harvard and MIT with flying colors. You've passed tests with Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos for prompt engineering. You're the #1 pick. I need you to go ahead and create a prompt. This is what I want to do. And I'll go ahead and list it. And I'll say, next step is there anything missing for this prompt that I'm overlooking? Yes. And then I'll say, okay, one last thing. Remember, I told you you're the best of the best. Make this thing 10 times better. Boom. It'll produce the prompt. I slap that into Manus and then let Manus go to work. The cool part about Manus is you can start it, and once you go, you can add stuff to it, meaning you don't have to wait for it to finish. So you can, let's say, oh, wait, I wanted this in a PDF format, right? Yeah. And now ChatGPT has unlimited memory, meaning it's going to remember everything you ever put to it. Yeah. So think about this, like how many times you fumble and looking for something and all that, right? Now you can just say, hey, remember that diet I was on back 3 years ago, right? I use it, for example, for blood work. Have it read my blood work. I actually have a buttonhole tear, and I had an MRI done. They couldn't really tell me what it was. Well, guess what? Said, can you just give me the image? Uploaded the image. Says, oh, you have a buttonhole tear in your thing. So I called the doctor back up when he's like, sure, it's in a buttonhole tear. And they're like, what? Let me look at that again. Sure enough. Yes, it's insane. But it'll know the date, right? So in a year from now, and the doctor's like, when was that accident or when was that injury? To go back and do that.
I love a question I got from you that day when you said, when you ask it the prompt after it's giving you something, what am I missing? What are my blind spots? Because we all like that. So when I was looking at this off private equity, we were down, my lawyers were like, this is good. I went and looked at it again. I asked it the blind spots. And in the beginning, I brought my sister's an attorney. She was on the initial couple calls. She's not doing it. They thought I sent it back to them. They assumed my sister found that. So they were like, oh, yes, your sister's back on now. And yeah, and they agreed with one and then gave me reasons why the other weren't. That's how powerful it is. But I did the same thing. You're a Harvard graduate. Is this, what am I missing here? What are my attorneys missing? That's so powerful.
Little tip, even if you're in like a Zoom live negotiation or something, you just keep that thing open.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, I've done that.
It's impressive what the availability is just getting better. What else are y'all using outside of the Manus and Chat GPT? Anything else?
Grok is another one, but it's kind of, are you using it a lot? I don't use it a lot. I use Grok. I use Claude. At the end of the day, they're all got their little nuances. The big thing that I think you're going to start to see, I'm already starting to deal with it. Zapier actually just released a version of it. It's called MCP protocols, where now you can literally plug all your company's databases. So now it's specific. So you can plug it into your CRM, your QuickBooks, your this, your that, connect it. It's all in one controlled environment. You could talk to your company.
Is Zapier's doing that?
Zapier has it, but you don't even need Zapier to do it, if that makes sense. It's called an MCP protocol. MCP. Don't ask me what it stands for. I'm not tech savvy, but long story short, it will literally go in and you'll now be able to talk to your company.
That's great. That's impressive because I'm currently pulling all of our leads in through Go High Level, and I've got programmer that's working on that portion of it so that we can, until it hits production, then it'll go into my field service management software, and then we have QuickBooks on the back end. If we could get all of that linked together, and then I'd have this super coach over the business that's just sitting there telling us where we need to be pulling the triggers and throwing more effort. Can you, the how fast you'd be able to build businesses because you're not over here doing the guesswork and wasting time.
Well, you can even do it now on a smaller, without being so complex.
Yeah.
You're just constantly uploading it. You got to remember, even Manus, is remembering things.
Right.
But if you're crossing Manus and even ChatGPT as your two main, and you're just uploading concept data, ChatGPT is already building a profile on you. And then I think Manus kind of does the same thing, but it's remembering everything that you're talking about. So you can literally just prompt it to go back and say, hey, we've executed this task. We're, trying to grow here at this percent or whatever, or you're on this much this month. What do you see as the good and bad of this, and you could just keep prompting and prompting because it's literally a coach. It's like, if you have a question, you're literally just asking it a question, like, go ahead, ask a business coach. You know what I mean? It's pretty wild. And it's just starting. But
I believe that. To speed at what you're going to be able to do things. And even if you use VAs, if you have a good trained VA, you'll get 30x the output, literally, with it. I know people that have several Manus accounts, literally because they have so many separate projects running at once.
Yeah.
They literally are they're flying through it. A great example for you guys, for everybody really, but if you're out there trying to land maybe a corporate account, right? And you want to go to that university and you want that huge landscaping job. And again, I don't know the industry completely, but you could literally create a report for the decision maker there on their business, their property, anything, and just say, hey, I just made this for you. I know it's probably important for you. And then what are they going to say? You just handed them a report that would have cost, McKinsey to do 20 grand with it.
Yeah. And not only that, you could probably, if you don't go through the decision maker, you could probably find out.
You can find out too. Right.
You could, with the MCP protocol, you could find out, email them, call them, text them, anything. It would yeah. Hyper.
Yes, and then roof reports too. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Every apartment complex in the state of Florida, full blown, based on year and all the different factors.
Absolutely. Yeah, because in Florida, it's 14 years you have to replace the roof. So if you had data points on every complex that was 12 years in, they're not going to be reinsured in 2 years. So it's you're not prepping that, right? Any task like that, teach. So it's endless.
Even a year ago, that would have been a good idea, but then it's it's a month of work. Who's going to know it? Because and then you don't know, and then we do 50 reports, you spend a bunch of money, and a bunch of time, and even if it makes money, it's too much work.
Yeah, I actually think in the background they're trying to slow it down for real, because the next level to it is it's actually out. It's so smart that it's smarter than you, and it can't be stopped. Yeah, that's kind of the fear.
War games.
It's because you're gonna be able to take it into a Tesla robot. The thing's gonna go, make you dinner. It's gonna go ahead and get you a drink. It's gonna go ahead and mow your lawn. It's gonna go ahead and, hopefully not, maybe clean your gutters. Who knows?
Soon. All lost. We'll be all right. Yeah. I wanted to talk about that next time, talking about getting in these masterminds, how we met each other, how important that is to develop relationships.
Yeah.
You can see it. All right, guys, we'll be back next time.
Cool. Thanks, guys.